Thanks for coming up, Deandre. How's practice today?
It was good practice, great practice. Third down priority, so working a lot of pass sets and blitz pickups and goal line. But it was a good practice.
You guys are coming off the bye week. What's the mood like with the guys in the locker room?
I think everybody's, we got healthier. We got a little less heavy legs. Got a good little break there. Got to recover. So I think everybody's in good spirits right now.
Coach Taylor mentioned that you guys would identify some things you needed to work on and address those during this open week. So what things have you guys been working on to fix as a group?
Offensively, as a O-line especially, just working on our communication, make sure we're spotting out the right people protection-wise, and then make sure our technique is right. Me especially had some problems with my pass protection, so just prioritize working on those. Pad level, those are like some little technique-wise things that we had to prioritize over this bye week that we worked on.
How would you rate the play of the offensive line group overall?
If I was to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give us a solid 7. I think, we have a few MAs, but nobody's perfect. But I think overall the strain and the grit we bring every day kind of keeps building on it, and we've gotten better each week.
Why just a 7?
Say again?
Why just a 7?
Why just a 7? Because there's always room for improvement, to be honest. Nobody's perfect, as Coach says. He's an imperfect coach, coaching imperfect players. There's always room to improve. There's always things that we can all improve on. And so I think a 7 is a fair range where, it still has that room for growth.
What was your first reaction when Jalen Garth went down with the injury?
I was nervous at first, I hadn't played any snaps yet up until that point. So, of course the nerves hit you at first, and then just that realization, I can't cower in this moment. I got to kind of rise to the occasion. And Ben talked to me and Kamar, they all kind of picked me up real quick. They're like, come on, it's time for you. This is your moment. Go out there and just show them what you could do. So that was like my whole mentality.
Yeah, what does it take mentally to be ready to go in the middle of the game when the offense is they've already been working as a unit for a couple quarters?
I just had to get used to the speed of it real quick. I remember the first play, I made a call that wasn't correct, and Ben had to correct me on the fly, no, don't do this. And once that kind of happened, once that first couple play jitters get out of you, it's kind of like you just kind of feed off what they're doing, how they're feeling, just kept that ball rolling.
Did you feel like you played pretty well with that opportunity? How did you feel like you enjoyed the ball?
I think I had some pretty good plays. I also think there's some things I did work on. There were some passes that I wish I could protect a little bit better, and that's why I worked on this bye week a lot, was prioritizing. I got to work on my pass technique. But overall, I think I was proud of how I played. I went out there, I gave it all I could. So.
You mentioned having Ben out there at center. I know you guys obviously have quite the connection. How much does that help you when you're stepping into a scenario like that?
I remember when I was a freshman, our old center Maka said everybody needs a Rudy. That was his best friend. I think having somebody out there with you who can, who knows you on a deep level. We've been connected for 8 years, 9, 10 years. Just somebody who knows me, knows what to tell me to get me going, knows me on a very personal level. It helps a ton out there. Like I said, I gave the wrong call, and Ben's not yelling. He just corrects me on the fly, comes to the sideline with me. He's like, come on, you know what to do. And it's just a lot of trust that we have between us two.
Is it still kind of meaningful to know that, you guys started your careers together in high school, and now you're doing it again?
It's definitely meaningful. It was kind of the vision we had when we both decided to commit here, was us being on the field at the same time playing. And, he started a little earlier, but that just made me grind a little bit more. And, it's definitely something that him and I envisioned a long time ago, and it's beautiful that we finally get to see us both start out there.
What's your journey been? What's your journey been like getting to this point? You've been here a few years, you haven't played, and now it seems like this is your moment.
The journey's been consistently me just grinding, putting in the work, waiting for my opportunity. I trust Coach Traylor, Coach Kurt Traylor, put my faith in God, and just kind of show up every day. And just my whole mentality was get 1% better each day and just keep trying to build off of that. And I've had highs here, I've had lows here, but just my whole mentality was just every day, it doesn't matter, trusting the coach. Coach is going to play who he believes is ready, and just always make sure I keep getting ready.
What was the process like for you moving back to tackle after playing at guard zone last year?
I was familiar with it. I played tackle my first 2 years here, and then guard last year, back to tackle. The biggest thing that changed was being on the edge rushers again. Just, there's not much open space in the pass game. That changed a lot for me, just getting quicker feet again and having to drop some more weight and just playing on the trying to block these edge rushers. But for the most part, it felt pretty comfortable considering, I played it in high school, played it my first 2 years here. So it took spring ball was a little bit of adjusting, but then I got pretty used to it again.
So you knew, I guess, at the end of last season that you might be switching back, or was it a spring decision?
It was a spring decision. I believe when we started spring ball, I was right guard, and then Kamar he got banged up, or I believe, and so they moved me back to tackle for that duration. And then at that point, I was like, I think I'm pretty much solidified here at tackle.
You mentioned the weight component. How much did you have to change your weight to?
Not a lot. I mean, like 10 pounds, just a little bit. But it was really just like the little things I had to change. I was too slow, overweight, and I still am a little bit. I'm trying to work on it, but definitely just trying to drop weight so I can be a little quicker, a little faster, come out my stance, and be able to match some of these athletic guys I have to block.
Is that like an easy process for you when you're trimming a little bit of weight, or does that take some effort?
It definitely takes me some effort. A lot of self-discipline it takes. I just kind of grew up just kind of eating whatever I want to eat in the kitchen, and so it's definitely like learning. Luckily, we have a great nutritionist, Paul, who's worked with me, and we have great options here now to help me eat the right things that I need to eat to lose weight.
Do you prefer one position or the other between tackle and guard, or one that you feel like fits you better?
Honestly, I just my mentality is just play where I can play. I mean, if I'm gonna play guard, I'm gonna play to my best ability. If I play tackle, I'm gonna play to my best ability.
What are the biggest ways you can say you've developed in your time at UTSA? You see big differences in yourself anywhere?
Definitely mentally. I would say when I first came in here, I was mentally soft, mentally weak, just in terms of playing time or getting coached. I used to always be like, oh, I knew what was right, what was wrong. And so I had to grow up and learn, trusting my coaches, trusting what they tell me. I grew up a lot mentally that way. And then physically, of course, too, I came in weak, and Philo, been working with us for 4 years now and getting stronger. But I would say the biggest aspect that's grown since I've been here is definitely my mental strength.
How have things been different for you, and even that mental component this week, preparing for a starting opportunity?
I've just prioritized and focused on what I know I can do and what I have to do, and the opportunity that's in front of me, and just making sure I'm watching all the film I can, making sure I'm paying attention to all the little details that's going to happen in the game, and what I'm eating right now I'm already preparing, what I'm drinking right now I'm already preparing. So just like that approach I'm taking right now is the biggest difference.
What does it mean to you just to kind of have that responsibility on your shoulders? Obviously it's an important position.
It's kind of been my time here. I'm an O-lineman, just got to be out there, protect Owen, protect the running back. I can't, like I said, mentally wise, I just can't put too much pressure on yourself. Just kind of go out there. I understand the assignment and just do what I can do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.